Mai ka hikina ke kumuhana, mai ka la hiki a ka la kau, mai kai ko ʻolawa kai kona, mai ka paʻailuna ka paʻailalo, mai hoʻokuʻi a ka halawai, e halawai like kākou me ke aloha e nā makamaka o ka ʻaina. Welcome to Nanea Wainohia. This 4-part series on Moʻolelo Hawaii is a collaboration between Ke Alapiko and Mana Maoli in celebration of Mahina ʻōlelo Hawaii 2023. O ka Moʻolelo Hawaii, ka niʻo o ka mauna ʻōlelo Hawaii. Our stories that the kupuna left for us in the new pepa are deep wells of ʻike Hawaii, nui ka ʻono o ia mauwai. Moʻolelo kahiko can also be tricky to read and interpret. To keep you inspired to read Moʻolelo and support you on your language learning journey, we're sitting in conversation with friends unpacking Moʻolelo Hawaii near and dear to them. O Kamuela Yim, kuʻuhoa walaʻau o kēia la. O ia kekahi o nā mea liʻu o ka paʻakai ʻōlelo Hawaii. He's a mahi ai, a kumu, a translator, a kaka ʻōlelo, and he's ready to roll with you on the jiu-jitsu mat. Waipuna lau ke aloha, e kuʻuhoa pili e kahua.
Aloha.
Pehea oi kēia la e kuʻuhoa walaʻau.
Yeah, maikaʻi loa, maikaʻi, mahalo.
Mahalo ia oi ka hiki ana mai.
Yeah, mahalo. Mahalo kēia kona mai.
Wa mua ko kaua lele ana I loko ka moʻolelo kēia la. Hokahi a uni nau ia oe. Mea hoʻi. Why do you read and love Moʻolelo Hawaii, and why are they important?
I started to read Moʻolelo Hawaii because I have a friend, his name is Kukini Sua. The two of us started to go to college at Manoa together. And it was the kind of friendship that's like friendly competition, where you don't say it's a competition, but it's fight, scratch, kill, flat your tires, everything to win.
To beat a one in front.
Yeah. But it was we were like nerds, we were geeks about it, and we just couldn't get enough. And so Moʻolelo Hawaii was the avenue, because class ended at a certain time. We couldn't ask any more questions because they had other things to do with their life, but we didn't. So we could
And you was ʻono I ke lawai.
Yeah, and we could go, and I was working at Kalihi and doing a bunch of stuff. So mid of the day, nobody was working, it's too hot. So we just hide in Hamilton. And we just look at microfilms and just geek
Deep
out.
AC and Moʻolelo.
Oh, it's perps. Middle of the day, super cold AC, Moʻolelo for 2-3 hours straight, and then you're all rested up, and then you go cut some grass after.
On microfilm, this is before Papa Kilo pailani kako kēia maula.
You know, it doesn't look like I'm 100 years old. But yeah, it was microfilms and scrolling and doing the whole nine. So yeah, that was before scans, before hoʻolaupaʻi, before any of all of that. So yeah, but I think now it's now the same, but I think now is a little more important. Ke lawa, ola mo miana na mana leo ana kalama, mamalole na mamalole na mono oia aka, o maha miana oia, aka mama right. Ana kalakawika, lako pauloa, noho me ana, lako. Aka kanui, ha'alele loa. Lili I koe me ana, a lako nui ka lako hana. Na mana leo o kēia hana ona, a kēia muaku, oia na kēia mo moʻolelo. Kanu pepa na moʻolelo, oia na mana leo, oia na waihona ike no kēia muaku. No ka mea ai loko leila ka ʻōlelo helu e kahi pae kiʻe. Ka ike kuʻuna, na moʻolelo, na ʻōlelo no eau, ai loko leila na mele, na mea like ʻole. Na mea paʻa I nā kupuna o mua, paʻa I loko ke mo moʻolelo, paʻa pu I loko nā nupepa. Aka o iai kanaka, he kanaka ke kanaka hala ana I kona wā. O ia mo mea, kuhi wau, oia ka mea nā kupuna I ike ai mamua, he waiwai keia, oia I haalele ke kanaka, a meia pū kona waihona ike. Kela haalele ana, kia haalele ana o kia mau kupuna ike loa. Nā loea, nā ihupani, kela mau kanaka, ne hele pū, he waihona ike.
Hele pū me ka ike.
Hele pū me ka ike. I loko hoʻi o ka hoʻuili ana.
Koe no, kekahi mo mahalo.
Koe ana. Mina, no ka mea, ke hele pū. Hele pū me ka ike. Ano leila, mahalo nui kēlā mau kupuna I koho aku, e palapala aku I ia moʻolelo, palapala aku I ka ʻike, noho I loko paha ka hoʻowaha ia mai. O kēia moʻolelo, kēia ʻike, ʻaʻole no ka nui lehulehu. I loko o kēlā hoʻowaha ia mai, noke aku no, noke aku I ka palapala, noke aku I ke kakao. Waiho mai kekahi ʻike no kako kēia la, ano ke mua aku pu kekahi.
ʻoia. And we see that in things like Kamakaʻu writes that the hanauna that are coming in the future are going to need this ike.
Yeah.
And he's telling everybody, he and many other kupuna who wrote in the papers are telling people to send in their stories, to send in the ike, to write it down, I ʻole ai nalo. Because the transmission from person to person was diminishing over that time.
Yeah.
So, pēlā no ka mea kakao o ka moʻolelo o kēia la. O ka Nanea Wainohia o kēia la. O ia hoʻi kēia, but the ting long ass, so I gotta read the paper.
It's real long.
Ka moʻolelo o ko Wākea mā noho ʻana ma Kalihi. Ka loaʻa ʻano ke Akua ʻulu o Kāmehaʻikana. The story of Wākea and how mea living in Kalihi, the origin of the Akua of the ʻulu tree, Kāmehaʻikana. Just a short title.
Yeah.
Real short.
Yeah.
I call it the Kāmehaʻikana story for short. Do you have a nickname?
I call it ko papa me Wākea noho ana ma Kalihi o lau miha. Nah.
You know? Na ka peni manawale a Joseph moku o hai poi poi kēia moʻolelo. And you can read about his very incredible life in the book The Power of the Steel-Tipped Pen by Noinoi Silva.
Oh, mahalo.
And in that puke, we learned that over the course of his life, Poi Poi was a kumu, a teacher, a lawyer, a translator, a language advocate, and he was the editor of several Hawaiian language newspapers. And his father, Oia ke kanaka mua I kākau iho I kekahi moʻolelo Hawaii, ʻolelo Hawaii, mananu pepa. Na kona makua kane no. So his father was the first writer to publish a Hawaiian language story in the newspapers. No leila, he velo o hana ka hai moʻolelo no Poi Poi.
Oh.
And today's Moʻolelo comes out of his long-running column called Ka Moʻolelo Hawaii Kahiko that was published in Kanaʻio Puni in 1906.
That's a jam.
E kuʻoe. More than 100 years older, people like you and I are reading this Moʻolelo. Pehea oi ike muai no kēia Moʻolelo.
Ike wau makanu pepa, Kanaʻio Puni.
Hoi hoi.
Yeah.
Just maka helu helu wale ana no.
It was like shot in the dark. We'd just show up, grab a microphone, throw it on, and be like, burp.
Oh.
Nope, burp, nope, burp. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Kanaʻio Puni happened to be one day, and Poi Poi happened to be that day too.
Hoi hoi.
Yeah, ʻano ai.
Ano ai ka loa ana mai. I kēia manawa, e noi wau ia oe hoʻonenea mai I a kākou. E ʻolu e haʻi poko mai I ka ʻolelo, I ka moʻolelo, ma ka ʻolelo Hawaii a laila summarize mai, ma ka ʻolelo haole. Olu.
Hoi hoi. Hoi hoi ki a moʻolelo. No ka mea lohe mau kākou no papa me Wākea na lao hoʻokumu kēlā mea kēia mea. I loko nei, mau kanaka lao. Mau kanaka lawa no oʻahu.
Ke one o kakuhi.
Ka piko o ka honua. He mau kanaka lawa no oʻahu no Kalihi. No ka uka o Kalihi, Kalihi o lau miha. Noho ana lao, mauka, kekahi la, I mea ana I ka ai. Hele o Wākea e ki I ka ai iuka, hele o papa, hele I kai. Hele aku oia I ke alohi, kalai o ke alohi, ma he eia. Imi aku oia I kāna ai. Kupu mai ke kai mo mea, pirikia, hoʻi o papa iuka, imi ana I kāna kanaka, ua lawe ia oia no ka imi ana I ka maiʻa māuka, lawe ia oia I lalo I wai kahalulu. Ia wai kahalulu aia mā kai, ka au kona, pirikia, hele o Kāmehaʻikana, mahea ka ukane, mea. Kiʻi aku oia, uhuki ia oia, uhuki ia o Wākea, ma ke kino mai o papa, ia wā lele oia komo I loko o ke komo ʻulu. Lele pū kona inoa lilo oia o Kāmehaʻikana. Kāmehaʻikana, ma hape wā he kekahi mau hana, Wākea hoʻokumu oia I ka heia mua.
Heia mua o Hawaii nei wahi a kia moʻolelo.
Ai, ka heia mua o Hawaii nei wahi a kia moʻolelo o ka wā luna. Ai iuka o Nuʻuanu. A leila, ma hape mai I ke pū ke kule ana o papa, ka lele ana mai kekahi kule ana, kekahi kule ana, ma hape lilo oia o haumea. Ia wā awamu ana oia I nā kule ana pale keiki.
Kopu ana ia mulei ula.
Ai, mulei ula, ike ia olopana ma ke ia mo mea mahape komoi ke kaua, hakaka, me ana la. He moʻolelo piha, aka noʻu pono i, ke ala mea mua, e mea koʻi loa no ka mea ike ia kona kino ulu, Kāmehaʻikana. Mahape, nā hana a pau e manaʻo ai o Wākea no ka hoʻolālā ʻana a me ke kukulu mua ʻana i ka heiau, he mahele koʻi loa ke ala. A leila ka pale keiki, he mea koʻi loa ke ala. I loko o ia mau mea nui o ka moʻolelo, he mau momi helu e kahi. Ma ke la me kia moʻolelo a ka kēia. O ka maʻamau a ʻole o ka wahine malama i ka ahaʻawa.
O ia.
I loko nei no, ano malama o papa, kuhi ana oia, he kane, noho ana ke kane a ka kuhi ana oia, nana ana oia i ka opu, awa, he hala imi ana i na hailona, he wahine, kupanaha na wahine a pau o ke honua nei, aka o papa he wahine oia o nā wahine, oia ka wahine. A leila, e loko o keia awamo kuleana o maka e mea lele pū, kona inoa, lele pū, kona mana a piʻia. Manaʻo wau oia ka mea nui o ka moʻolelo, ka ike ana.
Ka piʻi ana o kona kulana me kona mana.
Manaʻo wau pili na mea ʻelua.
Ke kule ana me ka mana? Ke
kulana kekahi? Ke kanaka mana nui a ka a ohe ana kule ana.
Oia no.
Manaʻo wau o ke kule ana ka mea nui. A leila ike ia ke kule ana i ke pū ka mana e hoʻokō ai ke kule ana. He mea ka mana iaʻu, I loko o koʻu mau makahikili, ili I loa o ka noʻonoʻo ana ki mo mea. Manaʻo wau, he mea ka mana e hoʻokō ai ke kule ana. A ʻole hoʻaahu mai I ka mana a nui wale, me he keni ka lālā.
No ka hana ʻole.
Ai. He pono hana ma kekahi ʻano. Ina o ka hana ka ʻelilua ana ke kopala. O ke kopala me ka o ka mea e pono ai I hana.
O ia.
O ke kule ana ke ia, o ka mana ka mea e pono ai ka hana.
Pēlā, no?
Manaʻo wau pilipuna me ʻelua.
Ai.
Manaʻo nui ka poʻe ki mō la mamake I ka mana, a ka a ohe hoi iki I ke kule ana. A leila ike oi ka poʻe kule ana nui, oia ka poʻe mana nui. I loko hoʻi paha o ka ahu wale, ai ʻole ka peʻe ana o ia mo kanaka mana kai ʻulu me nā poho ma o maneʻi. O ke kanaka kule ana nui, oia ke kanaka lohe ia e ka pepe iau kanaka.
Kākaʻikahi hoʻi.
Kākaʻikahi.
Nui ke ia mau manaʻo au e wehewehe mai nei. Wehewehe iki wai maka ʻolelo haole.
Storen.
There was this guy.
Yeah. All I could think of
I mean,
was
all this over bananas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really cool small, I mean, you know, like in every moʻolelo, there's cool things. This is a jam for me because it's all here.
Yeah.
It's all here. You can get up and you can go to all of these places and you can go look and you can
Which
be
would be
there.
amazing.
And it's cool.
I never went.
You know,
but,
and you can go.
Yeah.
And
So how you mai maka ʻolelo haole? Li'i I ka moʻolelo.
The Papa and Wākea, they start off as humans, like as regular people. And they live in the back of Kalihi. One day, they go looking for food. I mean, you know, there's no time, so they go look for food and you gotta go hunt it up, rustle it up. And so Wākea stays up Mauka and he actually finds some bananas just growing in the forest. But Papa goes down, how she gets down, she goes over the mountain and she goes down into He'eia, and then, you know, she goes out to Kalaio Kealohi and does her ohi papaʻi and her thing. While she's down there, she has this premonition. She starts to see all these things happen.
All the signs and the lani.
She realizes that something's happening to her kane. So while she's down there, these two kiaʻi were like totally lurping up in the bush, waiting to try and see like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are you doing over here? Wākea finds some bananas growing in the forest. They're like, boom, got you.
Those belong to the ali'i.
Yeah.
You can eat.
And so they yank him out. They take him down. And like that's the gem. That's the reason why you read it. There's when they talk about getting Wākea, he puʻakena na ke ali'i, because they don't, you know, they're like, oh, he's just a thief. So they say kupeʻe I kona wāwae me he puʻala. That's the word for when you tie that thing up. So you find all of these contextual things, right?
Yeah.
That's
When you tie a pua up, it's kupe'e.
Yeah, and I never knew that. I mean, when you're reading it the first 500 times, you don't really know. You're like, kupe'e, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then, you know, like, I've been listening to a bunch of the stuff that Kapapura has been talking about, a lot of Kāmehaʻikana and contextual language.
Yeah.
And so you find those really cool things, like where it's, sometimes the words are more than what's on the page. Yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff inside there. And it's reading these little things, but finding the perfect word for the perfect context and knowing how that fits.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't even show up like that. But in the story, when you read it in the context and you can actually see it, you can see these really cool things. Anyways, they take him down to Waikahalulu, and then Papa goes down, does her magicking thing.
Because she got to find him, right? She
Yeah,
doesn't know
she finds
exactly
him.
where she
Yeah,
is.
so
And
she
this is
has
the
the
interesting thing about
aha'ava.
her. Like, she can kind of, she got some ike papalua, but for some reason, she actually needs to do the ava ceremony to ask whether he's alive or not.
I think it's like...
So, like, she can see so much, but not everything.
I think it's... you know, moms have that, right? Moms have that. It's the... I don't know what's going on with my kid.
Yeah, but something's up.
Yeah, you know, you're talking to the mom friends, and the moms are talking to the mom friends, and they're hanging out, and then all of a sudden, one mom just has the... and looking like something's wrong. I can't hear my kid. I don't see my kid. It's been 7 minutes and 32 seconds, and they haven't made a peep, and moms just know, and there's like a little thing. And I think it's
That's
a
a
wahine.
wahine thing.
This thing is a wonderful mo'olelo. Because I think it's very wahine. Wahine are a beautiful thing. I personally like wahine quite a bit. But you know, like you can see like how I think Haumea is the wahine in a wahine. Like you know, that whole thing about how a baby girl is born with all of the eggs in her ovaries already, and so that came from before and before and before and before, and so 100 years ago, like that woman was born with all of the eggs for all the everything. You can see how it all passes and the
That's her
transference of all of
haumea,
that.
just like the kaheo ʻula, that's her haumea.
I think it is. I don't know. I'm not a wahine, but when you read the story, it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
You see all of these beautiful, beautiful things that are so wahine in the eyes of our kupuna.
Yeah.
And what can be celebrated and what is awesome and all of the magic that a wahine is. And you can see like how they go through. I mean, it goes to other conversations that I've had with other people, but I think women are inherently mana just because they have the ability to give life. And I don't think men are. And I think
They gotta imi that mana.
And I think so. So you look at, in this mo'olelo, you look at it. Papa doesn't create things. She just is. And through getting her kuleana, and her kuleana is just to malama, you look at it, she just continues to malama. Malama herself, and malama her kanaka, and malama her people, and malama, and malama, and malama. And she doesn't have to go outside of herself. It's all
She
right
is
there.
a space where things happen
there.
and where things get created.
But you look at Wākea, Wākea has to create a heiau.
Yeah.
In order for him to transcend, he has to do this massive thing because that's how...
Take on a huge kuleana
Because
in
that's
order
how it
to
is.
ascend in his own
I
mana.
think so. When you look at this mo'olelo, that's how it presents itself, right? And there might, you know, other mo'olelo show you different things or whatever. In this mo'olelo, that's how it presents itself. And you see it through all the little stuff, right? So Wākea creates the first heiau, Kabaluna. It's up in Uanu where Oahu Country Club is.
Oh,
so-
Malaila. Wow.
That's why there's Waulani and there's Kanaka. It's Kabaluna. So,
Glad you came to work today.
that's free, by the way.
That was free. Next
Next
one,
one I got
$5.99.
And so, you know, and then later on, she goes. Papa comes. She starts as Papa as a wahine, and then she goes as a human, I should say. Then she goes into Kāmehaʻikana already. She's shape shifting. She's
showing
past.
these, like, she's showing potential, right? She's kind of like wahine, like with a little plus or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she's got this potential to be something really great, and she's showing it. She's kaheas to her kupuna. She opens the spring. She opens the tree for them to escape in.
That's it.
And that's kind of like a turning point in her own
I think
journey.
in the wahine plus, that's, to me, that's the beauty of it. All I have, you know, all I have to go on is what I can read, right? Obviously, I don't have personal experience there, but in the wahine plus of it all, I think it's not one of those like, oh man, if I was tall, then I could play basketball. I'll be super good, but you know, I'm not tall. But you know, if I was tall, I'll be super good.
Yeah.
You know, or like, oh, if I was real strong, I'll be super. You know, if. But
Yeah.
you are a wahine. If you're a wahine, you're a wahine, and you are a wahine, and so you can. And like it's within that, and within them, and within. It's not impossible, right? That these things you can see as the kuleana builds, the mana builds too, right? You just are. In here, that's it. And to me, this is a much older perspective than we have now about what is and what is and what is and what is and how they view those things.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. Having daughters, this is a story. Having daughters, this is a story that to me, I hope they get. Like they could read it. I could read it to them. But I hope one day they actually get it. They get the fact that you know, they come from this kind of stock. You don't come from hopeless and you know, waiting and you know, indecisive and all. You don't come from that. You come from brilliance. You come from awesome.
From Haumea.
You come from Haumea. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to say Haumea mana or mana Haumea. You just come from Haumea, right?
Do you think that's one of the function of Mo'olelo is to reflect, to give us examples of things that, like to strive for, things that are greater than ourselves, or like examples of accomplishments that then help us to understand what our own potential is, or reflect that part of
This
our
feels
experience?
like I'm writing a thesis. Like I gotta give all my citations. Kalihi talks
I know you
about
get them all up your sleeve.
Yeah, you know. So the 2019. No, Kalihi talks about it. In his stuff about how Mo'olelo are transference of lessons. Yeah, and there's a bunch of people. My other friend Baba, he talks about it too. But it's interesting. They both talk about Mo'olelo differently. But one of the same things they say is that one of the beauties of Mo'olelo is that it's something that gets told repeatedly. And every single time you tell it, you'll get something new. And that's the beauty of retelling it every time. Yeah, because you're at a different place in life, you need a different thing. Your ear is listening for a different thing, and so every time you tell it, every time you read it, it's different every time.
Yeah, and you
so
get something different out of it.
And you get something
because you're
different
looking
every
with
time.
different eyes, or in a different place.
So, is it hopes and dreams? Yes. Is it lessons and you know, morals? Yes. Is it what is the epitome of what a kanaka can do? All of it. Is it even the ugly of kanaka too? Yes. Is it warnings? Is it all? It's everything. It's life in a package.
Yeah.
And it just depends on where you're at in life to see where you're gonna get it and what you're gonna get.
Haumea and Wākea they seem very connected to me, and like they work together towards shared endeavors. They kiss each other. I know all the time, yeah. It's the kind of aloha vela between them. Pehea kou manaʻo no ko lāua pilina, a he mau haʻawina paha ko leila no kākou kanaka o kēia no ka pilina aloha?
Oh, good grief. I'm so not the one to ask about pilina.
Well, you know, ka hana puʻana o ke kāne me ka wahine. You know, o ia me he koko olua. Mea nui ia.
Okay.
A manaʻo wau.
So here.
Ike ia kahi pilina nani manei.
To me, I don't know if it's so much pilina aloha. I'll give you what I think it is. The stuff that's shown in the Mo'olelo is almost gender roles. And regardless of what the gender roles are that they show in the Mo'olelo, it's, to me, I always try to look and try to find what the balance is.
Yeah.
Everybody has a role. There's makulukulu, there's papa, there's Wākea. They all have a role. And the role creates balance. And the balance is there to hoʻoko iki kuleana, whatever that is. Whether it's raising a heiau, whether it's raising a family, whether it's making food, whether it's keeping a house, whether it's a pilina aloha, whatever it is. There is a role. Everyone has a role. In that, it's about balance. There's a balance in there that nobody's talking about. Papa doesn't fight to not be the kaula. She's the kaula. She doesn't fight to do Wākea stuff because that's Wākea stuff. Wākea doesn't fight to be the kaula because that's Papa stuff. Neither of them fight to be makulukulu because that's not their stuff either. You don't see Wākea fighting for Haumea's stuff as the palekeki because that's Haumea's stuff. There's things, and they're apportioned a certain way because that's how the balance is. I don't know what the balance is, but when you see it happening, it's I think there's this hooky all the time about I should be able to do everything that I want to do. No, you shouldn't. Why? Where does that come from? At what point do you see that in Moʻolelo where I can do everything? You cannot do everything. That's not for you to do everything.
Yeah.
It's not about doing everything. It's about doing it the best. So it being done in the best possible way. There's such a beauty and an elegance in knowing your role, playing your role so that you can see the big picture come together and be fulfilled. You look at all of the Moʻolelo, they all have the balance in there. Right? And it's interesting. You watch Hi'iaka, there's a balance amongst wahine. It's beautiful. Right? There's this real trippy dynamic amongst wahine, and they just do the whole thing. Right? And then you have Ka'anahau. Right?
Coming in clutch with the luau.
That's right.
Every time.
Ooh, for the win. But you have all of these, there's always these balances. But even in Hi'iaka, they don't all do the same thing. They don't all do what Hi'iaka does. They don't all do what, Wahine o Ma'a does. They don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not about Kane and Wahine. It's not about this and this. Just like this balance in whatever the group dynamic is that you don't really see nowadays because everybody needs to be somebody instead of just pass the rock.
Well, it begs the larger question of, what is kuleana and finding your kuleana and connecting to your kuleana, right? And we hear a lot about kuleana these days. And hoi hoi wau I ko manaʻo ia mea he kuleana.
My struggle is not looking for it. It's how do I not let kuleana run my life, but let my life be about the kuleana. I see some people who understand their kuleana and their families are a piece of it too. And they bring their families along and their families are into it and they understand that this is a kuleana o hana.
Rather than doing so much that the family falls apart.
Rather than dad's working.
Yeah.
And you guys just malama. Which is unfortunately a lot of times the dynamic of my family. I haven't figured out yet. When I was farming full time, oh yeah, kids are all, that's a lot easier for me. Translating and teaching and doing that kind of stuff. That's really hard for me to, I haven't figured out yet how to bring my kids along into that.
Do you think it's about being discerning too? Because we get a lot of opportunities roll into our life,
Yes.
that we could think, oh, maybe that is my kuleana, maybe it's not.
Yes.
How do you decide what is the right path?
I have to believe, and I think part of it is myself giving myself hope that some of the kuleana that I take that takes me away from my family or that takes up a lot of time, it's because I'm investing in the lahui. Working with ʻulu has been years long. I mean, 8, 9 something deep at this point. And that's not anything to brag at all. It's
a long-term commitment.
It's a long-term commitment, and I didn't see the value of it honestly past myself for a long time. We just put out a book, which is the thing for Kamakaʻu. It's the first third of his stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, finally it's done. Hallelujah, right on. Because if not, kind of 8 years and just like all by myself. I'm the only guy that benefited from it. It doesn't seem like it's a good balance, a good trade. Amount of time for how much I miss and whatever. Me only investing all that time in me seemed way too selfish. And then I bought, I would say 3-4 cases of the books, and I just kept passing them out for Christmas. Holy crap. Hawaiians is hungry. Boy, Hawaiians is hungry.
Pololi, makewai.
and it's and I think plenty, they don't know what they're hungry for. And then you show them that, bruh, and they just mop. It's like,
whop, whop, give me the next
they
one.
know that they don't understand the Hawaiian, and the English is right there. And I'm talking to these people, and they're like, yeah, I know the English is there. So what I do is, I tell myself, I'm going to read through the Hawaiian first. I just go read them out loud. And I don't even let myself look at the English because I don't like cheat. So I just read the Hawaiian first. Then after that, then I let myself read the English. Like, oh, that's cool what I just read. Like, they know they cannot speak Hawaiian. But they tell themselves and they make these things up so that they force themselves to read the Hawaiian because that's who they are. And so they read the Hawaiian. And even though they don't understand it, they walk themselves through the Hawaiian and then they read the English to understand what they just wrote. This is the way to get to this.
Yeah.
And they want this so bad, but they never knew it existed.
Mm-hmm.
They never knew it was out there.
Right.
And
then a book like this opens the door to
yeah,
that.
and there's there's the people who speak Hawaiian and they know it and they go and they read it and they do it and awesome, right on. But after we started passing it out to everybody, 8 years, drop in a bucket for how much people can play our game now. So you play in these circles.
But we want that world to be
That's the
widened.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. The same reason why you have kaya puni, so that your kids can speak Hawaiian to the guy at McDonald's, right? And the lady at Long's. That's why you have kaya puni. But then this is the thing. Like, how do you get all the Hawaiian to be awesome? You make Moʻolelo. And the more people read Moʻolelo, that's it. That's the ticket.
Pai kiʻikiʻi o ka ʻōlelo.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we had to sum this story up in one ʻōlelo noʻeau contained within the story itself, I would probably choose this one. He mai a ke kanaka, a kona la noho I e hua I hoi, hua no. My friend, how would you translate this ʻōlelo noʻeau? And what does it tell us about this moʻolelo?
Something about a hua and a guy. And,
This kanaka, he was a mai'a.
yeah, I think everybody, you grow into what you need to grow into. You ascend, maybe, transcend sometimes into the spaces that you need to fill. You can't push it. It'll happen when it happens. Right? You're hungry and you wish the bananas turned riper faster, but you cannot. So I think I think that's a good one to pick to kind of summarize the whole thing. I think it does. You see Papa kind of I don't think she ascends. I think she transcends through different spaces and different kulana, and with those kulana, different kuleana as well. Wākea. So, I think in the Moʻolelo, it's so clear. Like, Papa transcends. Like she leaves being a kanaka, and she does all these awesome things, right? Like
Transcends to Akua status.
I mean, human plus, wahine plus, whatever it is.
yeah.
I don't know if you could say Akua status at the end, right? She's doing palekeki and stuff like that, but I mean, it's definitely more. She jumps into the ʻulu and she does all of these different things. She's definitely more than human.
Yeah.
And I think women are an enigma to me, but I think in the Moʻolelo, it's really trippy in that you can see the transcendence of Papa. But in Wākea, it's like it's the grind. Like for guys, it's the grind. Like you wake up and now you're doing this, and that's your grind, and you gotta hit the grind every day, and then you build a heiau, whatever is your heiau, right?
One rock at a time.
Right? And it's what it is, right? You just go, and it's the grind. And I think the grind is stereotypical for Kane. In my life, that's what it is. I don't transcend much at all, but it's the grind. Every single day, you're on the grind. You're on the grind. You're on the grind. That's it. That's Wākea in there. He's on the grind. I think Haumea turning herself into the Legion, you see the transcendence of it, right? She starts as a human, and then from there she goes into the ʻulu, and from there she goes in it's like I take care of me, and then I take care of this, which is just Wākea, and then I'm gonna take care of ʻohana, right, which is mule ula. Then after that, I'm gonna take care of it. Like you can see her kuleana just
The rings
this.
of kuleana that come out. Yeah.
Concentric, 100%.
Yeah.
And it just kind of folds out, right? It's almost like I forget about the war. It's almost like I forget about the fighting with Olopana because you can see these. There's an underlying, line in the story of watching Papa do this, and
grow.
Like it's like.
That kind of overshadows some of the other elements.
100%. Like I almost forget about the fact that there's a war happening because you can see it. I take care of me, then I take care of me and Wākea, then I take care of me and a little bit more, and then I take care of all of it. Like you can just see it and you just sit there and go like, bro, this is what it looks like to transcend through time and space and kuleana and everything, right? How?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. The thing is awesome.
Aye. So we read plenty moʻolelo that are packed with vocabulary, beautiful turns of phrase, ʻōlelo noʻea, and the goal is to kind of bring that over into our own ʻōlelo when we hoʻopuka, kamaʻilio. But that's a hard hump. I have problems getting over that hump, and I'm still looking for ways to make that easier and to do a better job of that. So, he manaʻo paha kou I ka poʻe e hoʻomākaukau ana e hoʻoikaika ana ma ka heluhelu moʻolelo. He ʻōlelo aʻo paha kau iala kou, something to help them kind of like get these things pa'a and get this vai, take it with them and actually use it, actually speak it.
Yeah. O ka mamua mai, ninamia na i au I ke kumu I koho I ai kia moʻolelo. Ma Wainohia ona moʻolelo he nui inu. O ka oia I o helu wau kēia moʻolelo no ka mea pokole ia. He pokole. Hiki ke hoʻopau. Kēia, kāne wailani. Kēia mo mea pokole mai. Manaʻo wau, ki I koke. Kēia mo moʻolelo o iai pokole hiki ke hoʻopau. Hoʻopau I ka moʻolelo. Moʻolelo o hiapo, kanakolo minuke o ke la kēia la. Oia wale no ka mea pono ai. Ina hiki ke hana maʻo aku, hiki. Aka, maka liʻiliʻi loa, kanakolo minuke. Helu liʻiliʻi, helu liʻiliʻi, nome, ka ai ana. Makahi o ka haupa ana. Ea, nome. Nome, mape pau. A I loko o kela nome ana, I loko o ke kiʻi ana I ka moʻolelo liʻiliʻi, ka moʻolelo pokole, he hala, a mahape mai nā moʻolelo nui. Manaʻo wau, ke kiʻi ana I nā huaʻolelo, a hoʻopuka, oia ka mea nui loa. Hoʻopuka. A kekahi ʻaoʻao o ia hoʻopuka ana, a ʻole kako ka poʻe hoʻolohe, e hoʻowaha aku I ke kanaka e hoʻaʻo ana. O ka poʻe hoʻolohe, ale kako hoʻoluhi aku, hoʻohilahila aku I ke kanaka e hoʻaʻo mi ana. No ka mea, ma ia hoʻaʻo ana, ma leila ke ola. No leila, ina hoʻopuka mai ana kekahi, ma kekahi hoʻolelo kamaʻaina ʻole, hoʻaʻo mai ana. Pai, hoʻaʻo pu.
Oh yeah.
E aʻa like, e lele like kako a pau. I loko o kia waihona o ka ike, hoʻaʻo nui. Kako a pau, liʻiliʻi ke la kēia la, oia ko hoʻaʻo nui. A manaʻo wau, ma ke kiʻi ana, kekahi hana nui, ka imi ana I ka pōʻaia pili pololei e hoʻopuka aku ai.
Yeah.
Nana I ka moʻolelo. Na ka moʻolelo hoʻike aku kēia mo mea. Ina hoʻopuka ana ke kanaka, e ke kahua me ʻelani.
Eo.
E ke kahua me ʻelani. Ina hoʻopuka ana oia ma ka wehewehe ana. Ina hoʻopuka ana oia ma ka ʻōlelo ana I ka wahine. Pēlā ka hoʻohana ana. Imi aku oi I ka pōʻaia pili e kūlike ana, oia ka wā e hoʻohana ai. Ma waho aku o ia, ma leila kano e au ma ka ʻōlelo. Hiki ke hoʻopili aku kēia, he kanaka ka maiʻa e hua mai ana I kona lā e hua ai. Hiki ke hoʻopuka kela ia oi ma ka loʻi kalo. Hiki ke hoʻopuka ia oi ma ka waihona puke. Aka ma leila kano e au ke kiʻi ana. Ia mo ʻōlelo no e au, ke kai mana kiʻi ana I ka ʻōlelo no e au no ke kai ʻaina. A leila, manaʻo kako ma leila wale no hoʻohana ai. Na ʻole? O ka apiki ka no e au, hiki ke kiʻi aku I ka ʻōlelo no e au no Hawaiʻi, a leila hoʻohana ma Maui, ina e leu oe. Ike oe, like ka pōʻaia pili hoʻohana aku. Aka, ka mea nui, hoʻaʻo. I loko o ka hema ka hehala hoʻaʻo. A leila ka poʻe hoʻolohe, kokua. A ʻole kako hoʻohilahila aku I ka hoʻaʻo ana. No ka mea, ma kēlā me kēia keʻehina, pēlā e hoʻe aku ai. Manaʻo wau, oia ka mea nui loa. Ea kekahi. O ka poʻe, maikaʻi loa ma ka ʻōlelo Hawaiʻi. Kako akahi I ka ʻōlelo. Hilahila, makaʻu, ka hoʻopuka ana. Ia mau kanaka, maikaʻi loa ma ka ʻōlelo Hawaiʻi. Ke kakali mai nei lako a hoʻaʻo mai ʻoe. Lako a pau. Ale lako hoʻohilahila mai ana. Aka, pēlā kako.
Kako o ana.
Ai, I loko o kēlā, hoʻaʻo. Ale kako makaʻu, ale kako hoʻohilahila. Manaʻo wau, oia ka mea nui loa o kēia kiʻi ana I ka ike. Kiʻi, hoʻohana. Ina kiʻi wale no helu, uʻa. Uʻa, kiʻi, hoʻohana.
So start with shorter stories. Starting with shorter stories helps, yeah, because we can actually finish them.
Yeah.
And then it's letting the context inside the stories guide us, because the moʻolelo really do. They have the context in which to use all this beautiful vocabulary, ʻōlelo noʻea, turns of phrase, So actually letting those contexts guide you, but then using it wider if you can.
I think,
and just using it and not being afraid.
yeah.
Not letting the hila kind of keep you from trying.
Yeah, and all the people that you're afraid of using it with, those are the ones that are waiting for you to use it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think so.
Ohana i aku.
Oh, yeah.
Mahalo. Aia o kou, e ka poʻe hoʻolohe mai ana e nana mai ana hoʻi. Mahalo anui ke hui ana o kākou. There's an episode of Nanea Wainohia dropping each week of Mahina ʻōlelo Hawaii, no leila e hoʻi hou mai no. For links to today's Moʻolelo, visit the Moʻolelo page of kealopico.com. Remember to check us out on Instagram and Facebook for more information on Moʻolelo Hawaii and this series, Nanea Wainohia. A special mahalo to the crew of Mana Maoli for supporting this series and for their technical expertise. Check out their incredible work at manamele.org. E nā hoa, e hiʻi ana I ka leo o iwi. To all those learning and loving ʻōlelo Hawaii, e kā mau I hoi ka hoe. A e no ke mau I ka helu helu.